Hey HB5 fans, this is Hillbrat5 aka HB5 coming to you to talk about things you must know about Call of Duty Vanguard. So if you're a PS4, PS5 owner, you've had access to Vanguard Beta for probably about a week now. And if you're an Xbox owner, you now have access as well, as long as you pre-order Call of Duty Vanguard. And the game itself does not officially come out until November 5th. But if you pre-order, you will have access to Vanguard beta version. So I've played the beta version a number of times now. I've noticed that they've rolled out at least one or two updates since it was first released for PS4 and PS5 owners. Um, from what I see, the update largely is around how they've ordered the menus and the gaming modes, etc. But here are some general things that I think will be helpful, particularly for those of you who have not yet pre-ordered, to help you make a decision about the game and whether it's worth investing pre-order or waiting until November when the full game comes out. First, let me say this. If you remember how Cold War was rolled out and there was lots and lots of glitches, I think you would be pleasantly surprised with regards to Vanguard. I will say that I have not encountered um, really any major glitches that I've noticed. So that's one good thing about it. The other thing is that the maps are very dynamic. They've brought back a number of things that they kind of took away from us in Cold War, like the ability to open and close doors. They have walls. If you see uh, wood covering a hole in the wall, you can break through it. They brought back the ability to mount firearms when you're shooting, and also this new feature where if you're behind an object, you can kind of pull the trigger and blindly shoot around it. So the actions in the game seem to be more dynamic in terms of options. That's exciting. The other thing to know is that, they have different game modes. A lot of it you've seen before, of course, team deathmatch, um, confirm kill, or excuse me, kill confirm, domination, search and destroy. They have this new one, patrol, that I kind of characterize. It's sort of like hardpoint, but it's not. In essence, the hard point is it keeps moving throughout the game and you fight over it. And, but at the end of the day, it's, what team has the most time in the moving target. Um, and the other interesting thing is that they have what they're calling sort of these combat pacing modes. Uh, they have in their recent update spelled it out for you under the filters. You have options for all of the combat pacing modes to, I guess, be randomly selected, or you can pick tactical, assault, blitz. When it was first rolled out, blitz was actually separate, like Champion Hill in the menu. And basically, the difference that I've noticed between them is the pacing. It looks like the from tactical to assault and blitz. It's a combination of things, but mainly it seems like they put more players in a game for faster pacing, like in blitz. And just to also highlight, there's another game in this Champion Hill. Basically, Champion Hill, in the update, there's an option for duos. I know that when the beta was first pushed out, there was also trios and other Champion Hill options. I don't know if they're going to come back, but essentially, Champion Hill is 8 squads. You're partnering with someone or two other people, and it goes through sort of like a round robin. You're put in with one other team each, and basically at the end of all the rounds, the top team is sort of winner takes all, so to speak. So that's an interesting game. And I was confused in the beginning a bit. Before everything starts, you get an opportunity to potentially change out your weapon and get other things like grenades and stuff. And the other interesting thing that I saw is that if your team is eliminated early, you get a choice to actually watch the game from up above to see the other teams playing. So that's another feature in Vanguard Beta. So let me just quickly run down what are the pros and cons. So, under the pros of Vanguard, as I said in the beginning, I was pleasantly surprised that I didn't experience any glitches, or at least none that I actually observed, like there was in the rollout of Cold War. So if you're worried about that, I'd say don't worry about it. The other pro, as I mentioned, are the maps. The fact that they're more dynamic. They brought back some of the options that they took out in Cold War, like opening and closing doors. You can break through boarded up walls. You can actually see more damage to objects as you're shooting. The mounting of your gun while you're shooting, and this new quick fire behind objects option. Now, what are the cons? Well, right now, at least in beta, there just seems to be only a few maps plus Champion Hill. Um, there's no hardcore yet. Hopefully they'll roll that out. So if you're used to playing core, uh, I think you'd love this. There's not too much of adjustment. But if you are used to playing hardcore, yes, there is an adjustment to go back to sort of the core mode of playing. The other sort of con might not relate to everyone. I don't know whether it's just that I'm old or I wear glasses. But in terms of the visual dynamics of the map, they're duller, and it's harder for me to see as well as I can in the vibrant colors of Cold War. Um, when I first started playing, for example, before I could even see the enemies, I was shot, even though they were right in front of me. They have this sort of salmon or kind of like this pastel orange type of color designating the enemy, and it's really hard to see in the map. So hopefully they'll improve some of that or pick different colors. But at the end of the day, folks, um, I would say I give it, sort of a thumbs up. Um, a little hesitant, waiting to see more maps come out, waiting to see if they're going to roll out hardcore. But right now, I would give it a thumbs up in terms of, limited glitches. Thinking through if they're not going to have hardcore, at least at this point, this combat pacing modes that, make it a little bit more exciting. I will say, though, after playing for a while, um, I wanted to go back to Cold War for a little bit more excitement. I'll just say that. So with that said, hopefully this video is helpful. This is HB5, Hillbrat5. Find me on Twitch at Hillbrat5. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're still on the fence with whether to pre-order Vanguard, hopefully this video will help you. Check out my other videos on gaming and video editing. And I'm signing off for now.